Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing the YouTube made me do it tag sort of thing. I thought that this would be really fun because, I don't know, I like watching videos like this because it's interesting to see the products that you sort of bought into literally because you've heard people talking about it, and I know I've recommended products to people and they have told me that they have checked it out and they love it and they agree with me, and then there's some other things that you get recommended and you just don't like. Also, if you're wondering what is up with the glamorous makeup, I did a Lana Del Rey inspired collab with my friend here on YouTube. That's either going to be posted before this or after this. I'm not too sure if it is before this. I'll be sure to leave the link down below. So keep your eyes peeled for that because that's quite a fun video. And now let's get into the products that I have bought because of YouTube. Really, when you get down to it, about 3/4 of the makeup I own is because it's been recommended or because I've heard about it. I don't typically just walk into Sephora and find some random product that I love. It's usually because people are talking about it. But I'm just going to mention a few that are products that I purchased strictly because of somebody's recommendation. The first one is the Revlon ColorStay Foundation. I'm sure you guys have all heard of this. I do not like this. I mentioned this in my products I regret buying video. So many people rave about this on YouTube. I mean, it is a holy grail foundation for like a good 85% of beauty gurus, but for me, it just did not work. I think it's cakey. I think it's masky. You can see that products I regret buying video if you want to learn a little bit more about this and why I hate it. Next product I purchased because of I Call It Ambrosia or Rachel Whitehurst here on YouTube. It's the L'Oreal Magic Smooth Souffle Foundation. This is now discontinued, sadly. I know that she went into like this spiraling depression because of it. I think it's an okay foundation. I really don't use it much because it has an extremely matte finish and I tend to go for something that's a little bit more of a satin or dewy finish. It is a nice foundation for the summer, however. I am in the shade Nude Beige. And I'm not going to go on too much about this because you can't even buy it anymore, but this was one product that she recommended that I bought. The next product is the most infamous eyeshadow palette I think ever, and it's the Naked palette from Urban Decay. This was again something that I saw so many tutorials on when it first came out that I was like, I have to get this. Never knew that it was going to be the craze that it is now, but everybody has seen this. It's just an array of pretty neutrals that are all kind of shimmery or satin, or some of them are even glittery. I don't mind this palette. I definitely think that it's a good staple for everybody to have in their collection. However, I do prefer the Lorac Pro palette. I think that is just 20 times better. But the Urban Decay Naked palette, I'm sure half of you probably own this and the other half probably want it because it is a nice palette. I would go for the Lorac Pro palette over it, but other than that, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. Next, the MAC Mineralize Skinfinish Natural. Again, another product in my products I regret buying video because the Sephora Micro Smooth powder that I rave about I think is just 20 times better than this. I can't remember who specifically recommended this. It's kind of like the Naked palette, just so many people love that and have recommended it. This is quite a famous powder here in the beauty community. However, I feel like it's a little bit overrated, saying that really compared to my other powders, I don't notice a difference. I can put on my $8 Revlon Nearly Naked powder or my a little bit more expensive Sephora Micro Smooth powder, and I just don't really see much of a difference. And I think the Sephora Micro Smooth one, it just has a better texture, it has better pigmentation, and this is just kind of meh. I don't know, maybe I just had so high expectations for this that when I actually got it and it didn't really perform miracles, I was like, damn. Not a bad powder, just a really, really overhyped product. MAC in general is just a brand that here in the beauty community is way, way, way overhyped. And for a few years, it was bad. Like the early Juicy Star, all the glitters, Michelle Phan type of years. Do you guys remember those? Like back when those channels were even starting to show up, MAC was like the thing. If you didn't own a MAC product, you weren't a makeup lover. Like, you had to own MAC. And now it's really died down, thank God. I said this in my products I regret buying video. I just feel like MAC is so overrated. There are so many brands out there that produce consistently better products than I think MAC does. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash on MAC. I do think that a lot of their products are well worth it. But when you're paying for like a $15 eyeshadow, you really expect it to work extremely well. When there are eyeshadows from Maybelline and Rimmel and stuff that I think work just the same and are like $2 or $3. Anyway, that is the story behind the brand in this product. Next product is another one that I kind of regret buying. We'll get into some products that I really do like because people recommended. I don't know why This is becoming another product I regret buying. But this is the Garnier Skin Renew Anti-Dark Circle Roller. The reason I don't like this is because of the color. It is way too orange and dark for me to wear on my fair skin. It's noticeable, and I feel like it is extremely drying. It has alcohol, I think, in it, and so overall, as an under-eye concealer, I just don't recommend it. Everybody talked about this for the longest time, and it was kind of an interesting little concept, but the color just doesn't work for me, and I think the actual formulation of the product is too dry. The next product was another recommendation from Emily Noel 83, and this is the CoverGirl Eye Enhancers Quad, and this is in the shade Drama Eye. This is a quad that has a shimmery white, a satin black, a metallic gray, and then a deep burgundy. She did so many looks using these 4 colors, and for such basic colors, it amazed me how she used this palette to create so many different looking tutorials, and so I had to get it, and I do like it. I mean, there are eyeshadows out there that are better than CoverGirl eyeshadows. They definitely aren't the best eyeshadows on the market, on the drugstore market either, but they're not bad. I would say that they're average. I don't really regret buying this. I have used it quite a few times. I wouldn't like strongly recommend it because, like I said, I think that there are shadows out there that are better than CoverGirl shadows, but for the price, I do think that this is good. The next thing is another MAC product, and this is the MAC Paint Pots. This one that I picked up is in Nubile. I know Amarique used to talk about this all the time, and MAC Paint Pots I think are okay. However, there are so many great drugstore cream eyeshadows now, like the Maybelline Color Tattoos. Rimmel just released a Scandalized formula. Milani has a new shadow cream, shadow type of a stick thing. There's just so many that I think that the MAC Paint Pots are kind of dying out a little bit because there are other brands that are really rivaling the formulation. Also, the thing about MAC Paint Pots is that they crease on me. Unless I use a good primer underneath or really make sure to powder my eyelids very well, these will crease on me. But it was a product that a lot of people talk about. MAC Paint Pots like Painterly and Soft Ogre are talked about so many times here on YouTube. So I kind of gave in, bought one, and I don't really regret it, but I don't know, they're okay. I think, like I said, there are so many other cream eyeshadows out there that I would suggest the cheaper versions for you guys to buy. The next thing is a hard candy eyeshadow duo, and this is a baked eyeshadow, and this is in the shade High Maintenance. I've heard Fleur de Force and, again, Emily Noel talk about this. It's got a champagne-y type of a shade here, and then this really pretty sort of a cool bronzy brown here. I really do like this duo. Both of these shades are really pretty. They're really pigmented and nice. This is the champagne-y shade. I'll put it on my hand so you can actually see what that looks like. It just gives a really nice light reflectiveness. And then the bronzy brown shade is really gorgeous. It's got a nice sort of almost cool taupiness to it. These can be used wet, which is my favorite way to use them, because dry, they're okay, they're not too bad, but wet, these babies really pop. So I do enjoy this eyeshadow duo from Hard Candy, and I would recommend this. The next product is a recent purchase, actually, and it is the CoverGirl Clump Crusher Mascara. And I mentioned this in my last haul video that I wasn't interested in getting this until I saw it so many times on YouTube. So, classic example of, not too sure if I want it, then everybody raves about it, so then I have to get it. And I have actually been loving this mascara lately. It is starting to turn into one of my favorite drugstore mascaras. I don't know if it beats the Neutrogena Healthy Links, because that thing is... oh, that thing is incredible. But I do definitely enjoy this for a nice volumizing mascara. I love the wand. It is the best wand to get your lower lashes, because you can literally just sort of tilt it so that the curve is facing you and just sort of stroke down on your lower lashes. It takes like 2 seconds to coat those things and you got really nice defined lower lashes, but it also works obviously well on your upper lashes. It is a nice clump-free formula, and overall I've really been liking this mascara. And then another recent purchase that I picked up at Walmart just, I think, like 2 days ago. This is the Maybelline, oh dear lord, I can't even read this label at all. I think this is called like the Shine Sensational lip glosses. They used to come into tubes like this, and these were okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the scent. And they were just kind of average lip glosses, not anything that were spectacular, definitely not my favorite from the drugstore, but they were alright. And then they reformulated them, put them into bottles like this. You can kind of see the difference here. I actually really like the new packaging. I think Pinky Charm was the one who was talking about these and did a rave review about them on her channel, and so I had to pick one up, and this is in the shade 110 mirrored mauve. So again, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that label, but I love this. Like I said, I've only had it for 2 days, but I wore it yesterday, and I was surprised on how much better this formulation is compared to the old one. I think that these really stay on the lips a lot better, and this is such a cool gloss because it has a awesome applicator, again, that sort of elongated, slightly slanted doe foot. It is a very opaque gloss, however, it does not settle into lip lines, which is awesome. It lasted for hours. It gives a nice amount of shine. I wouldn't say it's like total glass, like, ooh, amazing shine, but it is quite shiny, and I definitely prefer these over the old formulation. I might have to pick up more. Anyway, really been enjoying this. We'll see if it makes it into my March favorites because so far it is on a good roll. So thank you, Pinky Charm, for recommending this. On to blushes and bronzers. The first one I'm just going to go through really quickly. It's the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Exposed. Need I say more? This shade is all over the place, and I think I originally purchased it because From Head to Toe raved about it, and she used it in like good 10 or 15 of her tutorials and just was constantly talking about it. So after a while I was like, okay, I have to see what the fuss is about. This is my favorite blush of all time. Next to the Rimmel Santa Rose Lasting Finish blush, this is my favorite. If you're wanting a drugstore alternative, I always say go for the Santa Rose. However, if you can splurge, this is amazing. It lasts for hours. The color is gorgeous. So thank you, Jen, for recommending this because it is awesome. And then the next one was from Christine or Tentalia. Finally, a bronzer from Emily again. If you cannot tell, I'm kind of obsessed with her. Like, she is my favorite beauty guru, and everything she says, it's like God speaking to me, and I have to go buy it. This is the Revlon PhotoReady Bronzed and Chic bronzer, which I love. Again, a bronzer that I, for so long, had no intention of buying because I loved my Too Faced one so much, but this for the drugstore is so much better than the NYC Sunny bronzer that everybody talks about, which is another bronzer that I bought because of YouTube. However, I hate it so much I'm not even going to show it because it is orange, and on my skin tone that orange is just way too noticeable. So while it is cheap, it's not absolutely terrible. I think that this is so much better. You're going to pay a few more dollars for this. However, the color I think overall is a lot more flattering. It's so much more universal because you have a mix of shades here that you can really customize your own bronzing shade. I definitely recommend this to everyone because it is the best drugstore bronzer I have ever found. Before I forget, I really need to mention eye primers because eye primers are something that before YouTube I really had no idea about. I didn't know such a thing even existed. Everybody's like, it will help your eyeshadows last, it will keep it from creasing, increase the color vibrancy, and all those ideas just really drew me in, and I really fell hard for the eye primer craze. As you can tell, I have hoarded quite a bit. I really love eye primers, and I cannot recommend them enough because for my extremely oily eyelids, I need a primer. I think that even if you don't have oily eyelids and you don't have problems with creasing, they are awesome because they will help your eyeshadows really pop. Which, if you can take an eyeshadow that sucks, put a primer underneath it, and turn it into something that rocks, you know, why wouldn't you? My favorite one of all time is the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. The next one and second runner-up would probably be the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. Right on par with that is the Lorac Behind the Scenes Eyeshadow Primer. And then with that too, the Bare Minerals Prime Time. For the drugstore, I love the CoverGirl. This is the Intense Shadow Blast in the shade Beige Blaze. This is a really good one. The e.l.f. Eyelid Primer for $1. This thing is awesome. And this is what I used for a good year solid. I was hooked on this primer. And then next, Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden. And then finally, the last two are ones that I don't like. The original Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, this creases on me. I can't wear it because it just doesn't do anything for my eyes at least. And then the Femme Couture Eye Primer Flawless Touch. This is from, oh gosh, Sally Beauty Supply. I've heard the Palladio or Palladio one is really good, but this one I just picked up and I don't like this one at all. So these two are kind of no-nos, but the other ones I really enjoy. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to leave any comments down below explaining the products that you purchased because of YouTube, or do a video response because these are just fun videos to see like all the things we sort of like bought into because of other people's recommendations. Also, don't forget to check out the Lana Del Rey makeup look, as I said in the intro, that will be up either before this or after this. Like I said, I'm not too sure. It depends on when my collab partner wants to put it up, but it was fun to do and I am enjoying it. I feel very glamorous nice and very like 1950s, 60s-esque. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like rating. I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.